Hello viewers, Ranjit Kalra is a familiar name in sports fraternity of Jammu and Kashmir. He, apart from being an ace administrator, has the distinction of being the Vice Chairman of Jammu and Kashmir State Sports Council Jammu, member Board of Control for Cricket in India, and is the only person from the state of Jammu and Kashmir who has been honored by being appointed as sports advisor of Lakshadweep government. He is with us today and will talk about the initiatives being taken by the government with regard to development of sports in J&K. Welcome, sir. Mr. Kalra, you have been appointed as sports advisor of Lakshadweep government. What are the initiatives you have taken so far?
I think it's a big honor for me that the government has deemed it fit to appoint me as the sports and youth advisor for the Union Territory of Lakshadweep. It's been almost 4 months now, and I think we've chalked out a plan for development of sports in Lakshadweep, both long-term and short-term. We are focusing on football, on water sports, on volleyball, and on football there. And our teams have recently done well in football, and a team of the Water Sports Federation of India recently visited Lakshadweep, and they have spotted many spots where water sports can be developed. So I think this is our foremost focus. Apart from that, cricket is our priority number 2, and we've entered into talks with the Cricket Association of Bengal, Abhishek Dalmia, who's the secretary of the Bengal Cricket Association, and Saurav Ganguly. They will also be, God willing, helping us there. Secondly, the Sports Authority of India has been kind enough to sanction sports SAI centers in Lakshadweep. So there are centers coming up in Lakshadweep at 2 places. Coupled with that, I think ace sports administrators are being collected to formulate their sports council, where they will collectively sit and advise us on other things. I think there's a lot of scope there. There's a lot of talent, and it's a challenge. And the administrator there, Janab Farooq Khan Saab, is more than keen that the talent of the youth is nurtured in the right direction, and their sporting talent is harnessed so that they do well at the national and international level. So it's still early days, but there are a lot of things that need to be done, and hopefully we are on the right track.
Jammu and Kashmir is creating a niche in the field of sports from last 4-5 years. Your mantra of further promoting sports in J&K?
I think we are on the right track now in Jammu and Kashmir, and if you look at the newspapers in the last 3 to 4 years, we are really doing well in a lot of sporting disciplines. We have done well in wushu, we are doing very well in fencing, we are doing well in water sports, we are doing well in cricket now, we are also doing well in football, we are doing well in basketball. So I think there are a lot of games that we are excelling, and I think the credit squarely goes first to the coaches who are putting in a lot of hard work. Then also to the sports federations, the J&K Olympic Association, who are our main components as far as dissemination of the sporting knowledge goes. And I think it goes to their credit that in spite of meager resources, meager financial support, they are doing very well. The Sports Council, the premier agency of sports in the state, it's doing, I think, a great job in the last 3-4 years. And if you see the kind of initiatives that we have taken place, all of them are progressive initiatives. We have got almost 150 people trained as trainers at NIS Patiala who have been appointed to the various districts. We've sent people to Uzbekistan for training and further foreign exposure, and our gymnasts who have done really well. We are also bidding now, preparing for the next national games that are to be held in Goa. Sports infrastructure has been augmented with the support of Government of India. We now will be having almost indoor stadium in every district of Jammu and Kashmir. The work is in progress in Kathua, in Banihal, in Bilawar, in Riyasi, and elsewhere. And coupled with that, I think the Chief Minister's office, who is the president of the State Sports Council, is taking a lot of interest. And whatever we propose and we request the Honorable Chief Minister's office, those are approved. And I think this is very, very fortunate for the sports people that the Chief Minister and her Secretariat take keen interest and are involved with the sporting activities and the sporting policies on a day-to-day basis. Recently, you must have seen that we have focused on the specially abled children on their games, and we also held a mountaineering competition. We also sent them for judo. Specially able children are doing well in judo, in cricket, in blind cricket, And I think agencies like the J&K Police, which are very ably being led by the Honorable Worthy Director General of Police, Dr. S.P. Vaid, are of great support to the State Sports Council. The Army is doing a lot of sporting initiatives. The SSB has organized a sports football tournament. So I think a lot of agencies are working together to put in their efforts so that the energies of the youth are channelized and the sporting talent is spotted and further nurtured. You must have seen that last year the J&K State Sports Council, under its very dynamic Sports Minister Imran Raza Ansari Saab, did the Khelo India Games in India, in Jammu and Kashmir. That was the initiative of the Honorable Prime Minister. And more than 1,60,000 sportsperson, right from block level, tehsil level and district level, participated in the Khelo India Games. And it was a big success. And we have made data entries of all the players, their timings, their final points. And I think that is a pool of talent that we've identified, and that will help us further to identify the talented players and then to nurture them, guide them and polish them and further train them.
You have also good fortune of being of serving on governing council of Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board. What are the initiatives they are taking with regard to development of sports in J&K?
I think it was a great idea on part of the Honorable Governor, Janab N.N. Vora Sahab, to think of sports as one of the priority areas of governance in the Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board. There's a sports complex and there's a governing council of which I am fortunately a part of. And we have identified 4 games, firstly, that is archery, then we focus on shooting, athletics and basketball. These are the games that are being focused right from catching the children young, putting them on board. We're also trying to put them on a boarding basis there so that they remain there and study there and practice and progress. There have been great results, and I think the governing council, which is led by Dr. Ashok Bhan, is doing a fantastic job because they're very clear on what they want. They don't want to go here and there. They primarily want to focus on four games initially and then support other games. We are supporting the schools in the area of Riyasi and Udhampur with sports equipment. We're also coming up with the scheme of sports scholarship for accomplished sports persons so that they don't have any shortage of equipment and financial support. And recently we also discussed the idea of having first Katra Hill Marathon that we are looking at in the near future. So I think it's a great initiative, and the Honorable Governor, who has himself been a cricketer of repute in his younger days, I think this was a great idea, and with a resourceful institution like Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board, I think their contribution to sports will really make a difference in the days to come.
Jammu and Kashmir sports is on the path of progression. There are some ace sports persons like Palak Kaur emerged champion of India. In Wushu, we have Surya Bhanu Pratap Singh, Abhishek Jamwal, and that Rajendra Singh. What should be what should government do for promoting these outstanding sports persons in the state?
I think the government is already doing some of the basic things, but we need to further support these sports persons. Obviously, they need to be exposed to foreign coaching. They need to be put on the right kind of equipment so that whatever they use is of world standard. We should refresh our coaches here. All that is being done. But I think there is a lot that needs to be done. And recently, the Honorable Chief Minister was kind enough to sanction us an amount of almost 10 crores for lighting up of the stadiums, 3 in Jammu and other in Kashmir. I think that would also help us to develop a sports culture, because evening sports will further be taken to late hours of the day where people can come and practice during the night, late hours of the evening. And I think those kind of initiatives, plus the infrastructure that we are raising with the support of the Government of India, will help us in further nurturing these sports persons. Obviously, we have to identify the talented youth and then to nurture them and support them in every way, because everybody cannot afford. The government needs to step in to nurture their talent, to support them, and to guide them with expertise. And I think that is exactly what has been our endeavor in the Sports Council. Our secretary, the dynamic Wahid Para, I think has done a commendable job in the last 3 to 4 years. And the kind of results that you see now are an effort, a collective effort that the J&K State Sports Council has put in the last 3 to 4 years. We're also almost finalizing the sports policy for the state that was initiated during the time of Janab Umar Abdullah. And I think that sports policy, as and when it comes out, would serve as a guideline for all the sports officials in the state, the DYSS, the Sports Council, and would enlighten the public at large about the sports initiatives of the state. You'll also be happy to know that we have now also constituted the District Sports Council at district level, which are being headed by the Honorable worthy Deputy Commissioners. And I think once they are also funded and streamlined, there will be a lot of scope for picking up of talent at the district level, which can then be further nurtured at the state level and for the national level. I think brighter days for Jammu and Kashmir here. All we need is the support of the public at large, all the agencies. Recently, we've had the Chief Minister's T20 Women's Cup. It was a great success where women cricketers participated from Nepal and Bangladesh. That was done by the Sports Council in collaboration with the J&K Police. And I think we need to focus more on the women sportspersons. And as the worthy DGP, Dr. Vaid said, then that we should focus and we should put up the slogan, ke Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao or Beti Khilao. And I think that is something really remarkable that the DGP said, and we need to follow on those kind of advices, that we need to put up the girl students, the girl lady players, and the men sportsmen together, so that together we can excel. There's a great amount of talent in J&K, and I think the parents, the public schools, the government schools, everybody should come together, put up a concerted effort to build up a healthy society and to bring up sportspersons of repute who bring back laurels for the state.
There are a galaxy of sportspersons, rising stars in various disciplines of sports in J&K. Would you like to name them and comment on them?
Obviously, there are stars in different fields in J&K sports. We have a recent star, Manzoor Dar, who will be playing in the IPL. Then we have Parvez Rasool. Then we have Vansh in fencing. We have Rajinder Singh and Bhanu Pratap, who did us proud at the Wushu World Games. We have players in water sports led by Bilkis Mir. We have Saklain, who represented the country in basketball. We have Shubham Khajuria in volleyball. We have Shubham Khajuria, who made it to the camp of the Indian basketball team. Our coach from here, Aman Sharma, has been appointed as a selector of the National Basketball Federation. I think these are bright steps. The Sports Authority of India. Yes, Shubham Bundir, our cricketer, a very promising cricketer who has scored many runs this season, has stood third in the country. I think he has a promising future. Palak Kaur, the gymnast, was recently also honored by the Honorable President of India for his sporting achievements. I think these are galaxy of stars who worked very, very hard, backed by their coaches, their associations, and their parents and schools. And I think these will be the future inspiring stars for J&K, and they have paved the way for others to follow. And the Sports Council as such would be more than willing to aid them, to support them, and to honor them for their great achievements. Recently, you must have seen that the Honorable Chief Minister also cleared the names for the Sher-e-Kashmir Sports Awards and the Parshuram Awards for the coaches that were not given in the last 4 to 5 years. And I think that has also served as a major morale booster for the sports persons, that they've been recognized, they've been awarded, and they've been honored for their achievements. All these things encourage sports persons, and I think that is we need to do. We need to stand behind them. We need to tell them that we are there for you. Obviously, there are a lot of shortcomings, and there's a long way for J&K to go. But hopefully, we are on the right track, and God willing, there'll be better and brighter days for sports in Jammu and Kashmir.
Once that Women T20, Chief Minister's Women T20 was inaugurated in Jammu, sportsmen said that we are translating gender equality into reality. That the aim of this tournament is to translate gender equality into reality. Do you think that women are at par with men in the present era?
Obviously, there is no sense where we can say that there is inequality otherwise, but obviously there have been societal, historical reasons for that. But at the Sports Council, we always try and promote lady sportspersons. Recently, a team of the Water Sports Federation of India, led by Bilkis Mir, our water sports coach, visited Lakshadweep and helped us there. I think that is a glittering example of her goodwill. We have Krupali, our Arjuna awardee, who is the gymnastics coach, that has done us proud at the international level. We have Palak Kaur, we have other people. We have Rupali in cricket, who's recently written a very beautiful book on cricket. So there are many women sportspersons who are our stars, who are our pride. And I think they are the stars which other women sportspersons follow and emulate.
J&K is striving hard to carve a space on the country's sports map. But I think that there's need of developing and renovating sports infrastructure in the state. Your comment?
Obviously, sports infrastructure is a major part of sports progression, and as I said, that we, with the support of Government of India, are building sports indoor stadiums in every district of Jammu and Kashmir. You must have seen that work has already started on refurbishing the MA Stadium Jammu and the Bakshi Stadium Srinagar, which will be built on modern infrastructural lines. There will be galleries, there will be dormitories, there will be playstations, and I think this is something remarkable. We need to take this infrastructure development to other districts as well. Udhampur is coming up well. The new indoor stadium in Jammu is almost near completion, and as and when this infrastructure is augmented and is thrown open for practice to the sports person, there will be many other people who will come and benefit from these infrastructural changes, and I think that is exactly what the government is looking at, and we are thankful to the Honorable Prime Minister for his special packages for Jammu and Kashmir, not only with regard to infrastructure but also augmenting sports expertise and for training of our coaches at NIS Patiala. And I think with the active support of Government of India and the guidance that we receive from the Honorable Chief Minister's office, there will be a lot of changes that you see in the sporting scenario in J&K.
You are an ace sports administrator, a man manager, and sports advisor. Any message to young sports persons of the state?
Obviously, what my message to youngsters in Jammu and Kashmir would be that please come and play. The J&K Sports Council sports centers are functional in all the districts. We have recently opened State Football Academy is in all the districts, and we will now be also opening the State Cricket Academies in all the districts. I think these are the initiatives that will attract a lot of youngsters to come and play and display their talent. There's no dearth of talent in Jammu and Kashmir. The parents should also see and identify if there is talent and interest in their children in their wards, and if they see so, I think they should encourage them and inspire them to play. Obviously, if they're not very good, at least they'll be healthy citizens and promote a healthy culture. The schools should also come forward. Many of the schools are doing great job. They now have skating rinks, swimming pools, cricket grounds, academies, private academies. I think those are the things that need to be further enhanced so that collective efforts are put by the schools, by the Sports Council, by the Youth Services and Sports Department, by the Government of India, by the Sport Authority of India and other agencies, the J&K Police, to develop culture. These are our children. Obviously, there's always a danger of children, of teenagers falling on wrong paths, going astray. And I think sports is one such medium where they can not only be on healthy practices, but also become healthy assets for the nation and for the state.
Thank you, Mr. Kalra, for being with Excelsior News. It was Ranjit Kalra, always actively involved in promotion of sports and games in the state. With camera person Karan, Rajesh Dar for Excelsior News.